Hi everyone, Steve here from the turtlefollower.com, and in tonight's video we're going to take a look at the markets, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ Composite, and the Russell. We're going to take a look at those to see what's actually playing out. We've been looking at the futures for the past couple weeks, and tonight I just want to change it up a little bit to see if we're getting any type of different signal. So first we're here looking at the SPX, the S&P 500. And we've talked about the potential for maybe an inverse head and shoulders pattern. We've talked about the potential of trading between these two levels right here between 2062 and 1990. We've also had this longer term uptrend intact. So for right now, look at what we have going on. It's just the fact is we came up, we hit that 2062, we've sold off since. And today's action, pretty much after the Fed announcement, was really just fast, hard, to the point. You know, the sellers just came out and they just took the market straight down. We closed down on the S&P, down 1.35%. So here we still have the opportunity for this inverse head and shoulders, where we would have, let's get that off the screen, where we would have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. That's still a possibility. The other possibility is we come down to 1990 and move higher. And the third possibility, if we take this longer term trend line off, is we actually bounce. Okay. So you can see if we just connect those 2 points. Now 2 points don't make a trend line. We know that. But you know, for right now, look at where we pretty much came into on, having a rough time here, on the S&P. Let's remove these. Make this a little bit easier to see. There we go. That's easier. All right, so you had the low here and then the low back here from the middle of January. So we're pretty much, you know, right at the trend line. So there's a lot of different things that can happen here. I'm just a little concerned with some of the breakdowns I'm seeing in, specifically in the Dow Jones. DJI. All right, now in the Dow Jones, the same situation we've talked about before, but now the difference that I'm seeing here is instead of holding this trend line or holding what was some support, we're breaking. Okay, and we're breaking down with a descending trend line. All right, so that's the one thing that's concerning me right now, is the Dow appears to be the weakest of the bunch as it is now breaking down. Now the Dow could very easily come down to, say, the 17,120 area. You could see all the resistance that it provided back here in August and September. You could see that was where it supported back here in December. So we may come into that area, bounce. But for right now on the Dow, it looks like we want to head lower. As far as the NASDAQ goes, oops. If I could type it. Okay, similar situation. We have this level here, 45.70. We had the small breakout. That obviously failed. Big bearish engulfing candle today. Okay, not the best. And ultimately the trend line is fairly flat here if we were to connect these. Okay, the trend line. But you could see this is the stronger of the three, even though we have this big bearish engulfing pattern, because at one point it did break out. So the NASDAQ holding up, and that's partly due to the fact that Apple had some strong earnings last night. Apple kind of held up very well. Let's take a quick look at that. It was up almost 5.6% today. Ultimately, though, it was sold at the open. Okay, it opened up here at 117.64, pushed a little higher, and then sold off the rest of the day. So as far as you know, the NASDAQ goes, it held up for the most part, but Apple, you have to understand, is a big portion of the NASDAQ, and the fact that it closed with that big bearish engulfing pattern, not necessarily a good sign. Now the last one that we're going to look at is the Russell. Okay, and again we have this shorter term trend line, if you want to call it that, and we have this support area here at 115. Now you can see again that the Russell did break out over that 1200 area on the 26th, which was Monday. Yeah, Monday. And then since then, it's pretty much sold off. So right now, that's below the 50-day. The NASDAQ is below the... I think they're all actually below the 50-day. Let's just verify that. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I know the Dow and the S&P are. Yep. All right, so everything's below the 50-day. Still in consolidations. The one concern that I have, as I said, right now, my big kind of red flag that's waving right now is this, all right, is the Dow. And I just want you guys to be aware of it, trade accordingly. But, you know, we had this, what was symmetrical triangle in place, okay, where we had lower lows and lower highs, and then lower highs, higher lows. Let's get that right. So we had this triangle, and now it looks like we're breaking out of that triangle. So wouldn't be surprised to see 17,000 tested right around here, 1768. And honestly, if that breaks, I gotta believe that we're heading somewhere in the 16,500 area. All right, but for right now, we are broken on the Dow. I want you guys to be aware of that. Not looking good for those big blue chips. So other than that, you know, the other three are in consolidation per se, but we're starting to see some of the damage over the last couple weeks that, you know, we haven't gotten the traction that the bulls need to push this market higher. And, you know, eventually when it doesn't go higher, ultimately they're all going to turn around and say, you know what, it's not going higher, it's time to sell. And that's kind of what we're seeing today. So last couple days, the Dow has basically fallen from 17,816 to where it closed today at 17,191 the last 4 trading days. So almost a 700 point move, 620 point move in the Dow in the last 4 days. So definitely being sold hard. Other than that, other ones are still in consolidation. So we do have a little bit of hope, but for right now, it's quickly dwindling. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments section below. You'll see I added that on the website. And premium members, head on over to the strategy session. Take care.